Hey there, class. Today what we're going to talk about is three-dimensional figures and surface area and volume of pyramids and cones. So yesterday we talked about prisms and cylinders, and that's when we had a box over, or two bases, sorry, and then edges connecting in the prism, and then we had another base here with the round surface connecting those two bases. When we have pyramids and cones, one of those bases goes away and all of those edges come to a point. Okay, and this point here is called the vertices. They're the vertex. Okay, so it's where all these sides come up to a point. The lateral surfaces, again, are the sides that make up the figure, not the bases. One new word is called slant height. Slant height is represented by a lowercase cursive L, and that is the curved side of the cone, or on the pyramid, you draw a line down one of the lateral surfaces that creates a 90-degree angle, and that is your slant height. The altitude and the axis are the same thing. It goes from the vertex all the way down to the center point of the base. Same thing here. And then our base is the figure formed at the bottom by these lateral surfaces. So this would be a square, a rectangle, sometimes a triangle. Over here, a cone will always be our circle. So some formulas that we need to know. For regular pyramid, the lateral area is going to be equal to 1/2 the perimeter of the base, so same as yesterday, times now the slant height. Okay, not the edge, but the slant height. So it is 1/2 because it's not the full amount. We are doing triangles. And then our surface area is our total lateral area plus the area of one base, because remember we have taken away another base. Our cone is our lateral area is pi r L, our slant height, so pi times the radius times our slant height. I know lateral area in our cylinder was 2 pi r h, which is our circumference. If we were to multiply this by the half like we did here, our 2 and our half cancel, and that's where we get our equation. For surface area, it is lateral area plus our base. And again, we only have one base. So the symbols that we have, remember, slant height is represented by a cursive L. P is your perimeter of the base. And B is the area of the base. So it's just like we did yesterday when we are coming up with these equations, okay, but we may have to do one or two more steps. So it says find the perimeter, the lateral area, base, and surface area of the square pyramid. So square pyramid means that this piece here is 12, but our whole is 24, and all sides are the same. Okay, give exact answers. So to find the perimeter of the base, you would add 24 4 times or just multiply. And this would be 96 inches. Our lateral area, remember, is 1/2 perimeter of the base times the slant height. So we know our perimeter is 96, but we don't know our slant height. What I give you here is an edge, okay? The slant height is the piece that is drawn down the middle of that triangle, okay? And it forms a 90-degree angle with the side. Now, you know when you have two sides and you're looking for a piece, you could always use Pythagorean theorem. So our slant height squared plus 12 squared equals 15 squared. And our slant height would then be 9. So when you multiply 1/2 times 96 times 9, you're going to get 432 inches squared. The area of our base then is length times width, and that gives us 576 inches squared. So our surface area then is our total lateral area, 432, plus, because we only have one base, it's just plus 576. which this gives us 1,008 inches squared. So really nothing has changed besides our lateral area, and that's because we multiply by 1/2 and a slant height now. Here in our cone, it says given an exact answer, which means pi still is included. We need the perimeter of the base, which is also its circumference. So since our diameter is 16, our circumference is going to be 16 pi, and our units are centimeters. Our lateral area is going to be pi RL, pi r times the slant height. So pi is pi is there. Our radius is now 8, okay, because half of our diameter is our radius. And in a cone, if I give you the side, it's going to be your slant height. So our lateral area is going to be 80 pi centimeters squared. Area of our base, area of a circle is pi r squared. We know our radius is 8. Therefore, this would be 64 pi centimeters squared. And our surface area, again, our lateral area, which is 80 pi, plus 1 base, 64 pi. When you add this together, you're going to get 144 pi centimeters squared. So that is finding lateral area and surface area. We are going to go on to volume, and it does have all of these components in it as well. The only difference for a pyramid, we're going to now multiply by 1/3. Okay, area of the base, so depending on what shape your base is, times the height, and the height is the altitude. Okay, so it's from the vertex of the shape all the way down. So this piece here is your height. Okay, we don't want slant height, we want the actual height of the figure. For the volume of a cone, you're going to have 1/3 area of the base, which is pi r squared, times that height again. So in number 1, we have a square pyramid. Okay, we want, this says exact, but I'm going to get approximate. So the one thing we need to do is, since this is a square base, we know this whole thing is 24, but we can draw this line out, which now marks it into half, so that's 12. Okay, when we draw our slant height, we can use this 12 and 20 to find our slant height. So you would do 20 squared, because that's the hypotenuse, equals 12 squared plus slant height squared. When you find that, your slant height is going to be 16. To find our height, we're now going to look at this triangle here, including the slant height. So again, if this goes down to the center of that shape, that has a length of 12. So we're going to do Pythagorean theorem again, now looking for the actual height of the image, which in this case, our actual height is going to be 10.6. So perimeter of the base, you have 24 times 4, which gives you 96 millimeters. Our lateral area, remember, is 1/2 perimeter of the base times your slant height, and we found that to be 16. That's going to give us 768 millimeters squared. Our area of the base is 24 times 24, which that gives us 576 millimeters squared. So to find our surface area, all we do is we add those two together, 768 plus 576, and that gives us 1,344 millimeters squared. The volume, remember, is 1/3 perimeter of the base, area of the base, which is 576, times the height, which is 10.6. So you would type in your calculators, 1/3 times 576 times 10.6, and you should get 2,035.2, and because it's volume, it's millimeters cubed. In a cone, the same thing is going to happen. You have your diameter, so this is your radius, okay? And because we do not have our actual height, we have to find it by using Pythagorean theorem, which in this problem, our height is 15. So you can figure all this out, but what I am going to do, I'm going to skip right down to volume. So we have 1/3 times 64 pi, which is your area of the base, right? Pi r squared, times the height, which we found was 15. So the answer is 320 pi feet cubed. Okay, so if you could go off of starting at the perimeter, find all these values. I will do the composite figure with you guys on Monday, and then your homework to get started is numbers 60 through 74.